McKinnon.
David McKinnon.
McKinnon!
非常にバッティングをしています。レフトへ伸びていくか、下がって捉えた、見上げた、デビッド・マクロー。
So, we're doing Q&As now, which sort of feels like we didn't answer enough of people's questions in previous episodes.
Like, hey, Dave, like, what's the weirdest thing you ate in Japan? Or Jasper, how do you even pronounce your last name? Spaniard.
For the record, it's Spaniard, and we both know you lived off convenience store food for half your time in Japan.
Hey, 7-Eleven rice balls in Japan hit different.
I know, you don't have to tell me. So I'm Jasper Spaniard, and this is Pacific Swings, the show that brings together baseball like no one else pretty much does, or is that too over the top?
You gotta set the bar high, you know. I'm Dave McKinnon, former MLB player, or I wouldn't even say player, participant, you know.
Participant, you were just there.
I was there, but former Japanese and Korean superstar. Just kidding. But who wrote this intro?
Yeah, probably definitely not me. Superstar is way off, but
believe it or not, we got a little bit of a script that we go by, and believe it or not, I don't ever go by the script. Could you believe that?
Yeah, that's true. I don't have a hard time believing that.
Yeah.
But today we're doing something slightly different, as I just alluded to. A Q&A episode where you pretty much hear us ramble about all kinds of stuff.
Speaking of that, yesterday, I just think the people need to know, okay? I'm retired, obviously, so I'm doing retirement stuff now, you know?
Which
And
is?
yesterday, so I've always loved to golf. I golfed a couple times in Japan. I golfed a couple times in Korea. And that's kind of my favorite hobby ever. It's a way to compete against yourself and get active, go out there. So I typically walk unless it's too hot because Houston gets hot. I did walk yesterday. It was morning round. I shot a 77 from the back tees. Got my handicap down to a 7 now, and I'm hitting the ball good. I had 3 birdies yesterday.
So any golf sponsors out there, please sponsor this podcast. Anyway, let's dive into some of your questions. Are you ready for this?
Are you doing the song? Are you ready for this?
Too many vibes here. First question. So this is from Mami on Twitter. She says, I think the way fans from each country cheer is different. How did you feel when you heard Japanese cheering for the first time?
So the first time I ever heard Japanese cheering was at the Baystar Stadium. I knew there was a good fan cheering culture. I did not know to the extent. It was a Saturday game. We had just got back from our Miyagi spring training, and it was electric out there. You got the drums, you got the trumpets. It's all man-made music and singing and cheering, and everyone has their own song. And when you're in the big leagues, there's just that buzz. Like, people are talking, people are doing their own thing. They clap when there's a hit, but it's not in unison cheering and locked in on the game the whole time. This was like in unison, locked in, cheering the whole time. And that is different because you can understand what's happening. So it took me that whole weekend in order to get used to that. And the cheering gets louder when bigger parts of the game are happening. So once the season started, the cheering was just awesome. But it did take some getting used to.
She also asks, are there any cheering songs that left an impression on you? Besides your own, of course.
I love Tonosaki. I would always sing Tono's song. Tonosaki, Shuta. I love that one. That was probably my favorite one. And then at the beginning of every game, towards the end of the season, I had pretty much all of them. So I'd be playing the drums in the dugout and be singing everyone's song. Obviously, I know mine. Dozo, let's go, Makina. Same thing with Peyton. Dozo, let's go, Peyton. I mean, it's been 2 years and I'm still singing Tonos, you know.
Another question here from Ataku Puro on Twitter, or X, or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. What surprised you about life in Japan that is different from life abroad? So,
like life in the States, you think?
I would say so, life in the States.
Well, obviously getting used to the public transportation was the toughest part. It was unbelievable how to the time the trains left, and they would apologize for being late, and like it was inconvenience to everyone if you were late. And I didn't feel that way. I thought like, oh, like they're a minute late, it's all good. But they pride themselves on being on time, getting you to the next place on time. So that was pretty cool. There's just so many options for you to get where you need to go, and it's relatively cheap. The other thing that I didn't realize was how cheap some of the food is and how good it is. I get train station sushi at Tanashi Station pretty much almost every home game. Shout out to Mr. Yamanaka. He knew a little bit of English, and he treated me like own and like family. And I would get him some tickets to the game sometimes, and he would toss some sushi on the house sometimes for me. Like, and he would just introduce me to different pieces of sushi that I would never have tried. Well, he introduced me to eel, which I had tried it, but like I didn't like it that much in the States. Over in Japan, unbelievable. They broil it or with that little fire gun and that little flame broiler. My gosh, dude. So good. And then
I'm
shrimp,
getting
they do the
hungry just
same thing.
listening
Dude,
to
it was
this.
unbelievable.
The funny thing is, though, when you say train station sushi, I think a lot of people's minds go, "Oh, well, that's train station food. That can't be good."
Nope.
No,
Train
like
station food's the best.
there's Michelin-starred restaurants in train stations in
Yeah,
Tokyo
like
because it's just the best.
people don't realize that. Like I thought the same thing. I was like, it's in
Yeah,
a
of
train
course.
station.
Yeah.
It can't be that good. Like there's
Yeah.
no way it's that good. And there is so many restaurants in the train stations that are unbelievable because a lot of times you're spending a lot of time at the train station anyway.
So it's convenient.
It's convenient.
Exactly. Another question here from my buddy, Ton de Jong, which I think is an interesting question. He asks, when Japanese players return to NPB after a stint in MLB, have they sort of grown in stature for their sort of countrymen? Did you ever see any of that in the clubhouse?
Yeah, I think there's definitely a. I thought like for the first thought, I was like, I mean, they do go over there and they do learn a different types of strength and conditioning programs. So I think a lot of them do go over and they put a little bit of muscle on. Literally, their stature usually gets a tick bigger. However, when they come back, I feel like there's a respect factor of the Japanese players that if you go over to MLB, there's just a respect factor of the MLB. Like even like they're like, you made the MLB, like they respect making it to the MLB so much,
Mhm.
Like I'm talking to younger guys and like they're good baseball players, but they're like, yeah, we're making the major leagues in Japan, I'm talking Japan, the KBO. You're competing against just Korean and Japanese baseball players, right? Now in the MLB, you're competing against the whole entire world because they're taking the best players from every single country. We're talking Japan, Korea, United States, Dominican, Cuba. Like you have everyone,
All over the place.
Venezuela, everywhere in the world. Like if you're a good baseball player, you're top in the world, you are going to end up having a chance to at least play for an organization, see if you can move up,
Mhm.
So I think they realize that like to make it to the MLB is an unbelievable feat. So for the fellow Japanese guys who do make it to the MLB, they definitely do feel like, oh, like that guy, he made it. He did
He made it. Okay.
Whether or not they had success, different story. He got a contract to go over there.
Yeah.
Like there are guys that go over and then come back, like obviously Tanaka, probably the best Japanese pitcher to this date that has gone over there, like strictly pitcher, I would say.
Matsuzaka?
I think if Daisuke stayed healthy, it would be different.
Hideo
Daisuke just
Nomo,
wasn't healthy.
Nomo the first couple of years.
Hideo Nomo was great. He was Boston Red Sox when I was growing up, so I always
Legend.
saw Hideo. Yep, but I think to pitch for the Yankees for
Yeah,
the
I can
amount of
see that.
time Tanaka pitched for the Yankees and how good
Yep.
he was for those how many years he was there. No matter what he does, when he comes back, he's a god. He is a god to those players over there. I mean, even when I went over there, I was like, that guy is like, he's different, like he's done it at the top level. I did hit a double off him. He got me out the rest of the times I faced him. And I was like, that's a cool double. Kind of like the Yamamoto homer. Like, I was like, that's a good homer, So like, you remember those type of things,
Yeah.
But yeah, even like Uesawa went over from the Fighters and he went over for a year. He didn't get much of an opportunity, but like to still go over and then come back. Yes, there's a big respect factor, but also I think they got a tick, like got to tick better. Like Arihara,
I mean, it
you
makes
have
a
to
lot
get
of
different
sense.
hitters out. You have to
Yeah,
get
exactly.
different types of hitters out and figure out how to adjust. And it just makes it easier to probably adjust to the people you face your whole life when you come back.
I think a new perspective on whatever sport or profession you have to do it in a different environment is always going to come with a learning curve, but it's also going to
Yeah.
be a good learning curve in that retrospect, that you learn something and you gain something from that. Here's another question from Wahayat Ali. He's worried that MPB will sort of adopt some of MLB's recent rule changes. Pitch clock, bigger bases to get more stolen bases, the ghost runner in extra innings, pickoff limits, universal DH, all of that stuff. I guess this is a really tough one for us to answer, but do you foresee some stuff changing in the NPB in the future? Or how did you like some of those rules in MLB versus the stuff you experienced in KBO and NPB?
So I don't really think the bigger base is that big of a thing. I don't think you need to, honestly, just for the safety of players, I wouldn't mind putting a second base, like base runner base to touch first, because I hate that like you're supposed to stay in foul territory running to first, but
Yeah.
then the base is in fair territory.
Yeah. Which is odd.
So then
Yeah.
you actually have to run in fair territory to straight line it to the base, especially when you're hitting as a righty, you have to run in fair territory to get to the base.
Exactly.
So I don't think you need bigger bases. I don't really think it helps too much with stolen bases. Pitch clock, I know that people don't like the pitch clock. It has done its job. It's moved the game along faster. As a player playing 150 games, 160 games, pitch clock is one of the best rules. It keeps guys healthier. It gets guys off their feet faster. It forces action a little bit quicker.
Mhm.
But as a fan, I could see the cheering culture wouldn't be as good because it's just less time in between pitches. So in Japan, I don't know. I don't know if I see that happening. But as a player, it gets your older superstars off their feet a little bit quicker, and it could potentially be good for player health. So that's the only thing I would say about the pitch clock. Players like it more than the fans probably would like it.
Yeah, which
Because
is
it's a long day. A lot of people don't realize you're on your feet a lot during the day. So if you're just shaking, maybe instead of having a pitch clock, instead of having sign system, just get the pitch com. It's easier to get pitches,
yeah.
without
Yeah,
people
but
picking
again,
signs and all that.
I think one valid argument is the fact that you create less of moments of waiting for players, and I do know that, especially in NPB, that I watch that there's definitely some pitchers that like taking their time and try to get guys' rhythm off. So if you eliminate that, but again, I can't see it happening in Japan.
I wouldn't mind the ghost runner and extras. I would not mind that. I
No.
think ghost runner and extras would be a good idea. And then just play it till the game ends. Like, don't have the 12 inning max.
Yeah, I mean that's
Ghost runner and
that's a Mr.
extras,
Baseball
and
reference again.
yeah, like we can't end
Baseball,
it. I hate the tie. Ending in a tie is weird. I
yeah,
would love to just put a guy at second base because we're probably bunting them over anyway. So see who
yeah,
can execute.
yep.
And I bet you less often go to 12 innings anyway if you have the guy at second base.
If anything, that's the only rule change that I can see that I've actually liked, because it just forces pressure.
I wouldn't also mind potentially maybe a pitch clock in the first 6 innings and then maybe take it away in the last three when there's more time, like game or more seriousness, like new pitchers are in the game. So I could see that maybe, but I cannot see a full blown pitch clock all game long.
No, no, no. I can definitely see what you mean. Hey, I got a question which I got a few weeks ago from Graveyard Baseball. So the big Lions fan who covers the Lions, obviously in English. He asks how on my trip ended up going to the Lions games of all places. And given the proximity, it's a long way out of Tokyo. Well, again, I got to give all credit to my guy, Ton, who actually scheduled that game. I still have no idea why I went to the Lions. Obviously, it had something to do with the foreseeable future that I was going to do a podcast with David. So, if anything, hey, sometimes you just got to let things happen. Got to let things play out. But yeah, I still have no idea. Probably it was the only game in Tokyo at that time. We'd already visited the Giants at the Tokyo Dome. Yeah, there's no real answer from me, but I'm just happy I went there, because otherwise this podcast would not exist right now. So that's pretty cool. On to another question from Ayo Fukami. When you were with the Seibu Lions, David, who was the teammate who was your biggest role model as a fielder? Who did you look at in practice and go,
Well, I
I'd
mean,
like to play defense like that?
no one really, because I can't play defense the way they can. And my style of defense is like more of a handsy, athletic, like I'm trying to be a goalie, keep the ball in front of me.
Mhm.
Now, who do I wish I could play defense? Like Genda, obviously. Who do I wish I wish I could go play shortstop and be like the nastiest shortstop in the world, but that's not gonna happen. So I wouldn't say it's a role model. It's more just like, wow, I wish I could. Even I wish I could. I can't. No one can in the world. So I I just like watching him. Like I was at first
Yeah.
base and I just had a first row seat to watch Genda do his thing all year. And Tono, like no one, because Genda's so good. Tonosaki doesn't get like credit. Tonosaki is one of the best defensive second basemen in the league, you know? So just watching those two turn double plays and how silky smooth they were. Um, yeah, just watching them play is just unbelievable. But yeah, no, I wouldn't say at that point I was old. I can't really have a role model to I wasn't all of a sudden gonna be a shortstop, but I loved watching those two play.
Yeah. Were there any young guys? Because I know that the Lions infield has shuffled around a little bit this year with Natsui Takizawa playing a bit of
Yep.
second, bit of short even. Guy is really impressive to me. Any young guys stick out to you?
Yeah, I mean Takizawa was great defensive player. Bat. I still remember he and with the Fighters we were up big and in one game and he went in the first at bat of the year he hit a homer and I think I had just struggled that game but we were killing him so it was okay. I think I went
Yeah.
like 1 for 4 but like I wasn't feeling great at the time and on Takizawa went in and just went whack like this little dude that's like 112 pounds hit a homer and I was like, oh, I guess it's that easy. And you just roll in, bang, homer. So I was impressed with him and his defense, but I think the person I was most impressed with, and I even talked to Mark Payton about it too. Like we were always very impressed with Yamamura, just a young kid. I think he was like a third rounder. I don't know what he was, third rounder, I think, out of high school, and smart kid, knows English. And we said it as like the most Americanized swing, like good power, kind of like more of like not an uppercut, but like the shoulder plane was more similar to like an American style swing. And we thought that he like out of all the younger guys that we saw, we thought that he had a really good chance if he developed to potentially go because he could play third, short,
Yeah, he can play
second.
anywhere in the
Yeah.
infield.
So
Yeah.
we thought that if he like developed and got better, he could potentially make his way over to the States eventually.
Yeah, I mean he's been playing quite a bit this year for the Lions. I've seen, so yeah, excited to see how his career ends up going. Another question from Tamaki Sugihara, because he's naming quite a few pitchers here. So Shunpaiti Yamashita, Hiroya Miyagi, Hiromi Ito, Hiroto Saiki, and Levan Moinello. So 5 obviously elite names in the NPB spheres. He's asking you basically to analyze their sort of fastball quality. And I know we could probably do an entire episode just talking about these guys because they're elite. And he's making a good point, delving into the analysis and saying by Stuff Plus in the NPB, they rate higher than any starter that has sort of made the leap to the MLB in recent years. But let me just get your sort of breakdown.
Miyagi, Ito, and Moinello have just like late life on the fastball. Like it just like kind of like late explodes arm side, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So it's just hard to square them up. Did I face Psyche? I don't know if I faced him.
You probably know better than I do.
I don't know if I faced him. So I can just speak about Yamashita. Just like when he's right, he's 96 to 100 with a big curveball that kind of comes out of the same spots. His fastball rides hard. He's kind of like the, hey, here it is. Like, see if you can hit it. Where Miyagi, Ito, and Moinello are a little more like, well, they all throw pretty decently hard. Moinello throws pretty hard. But like, it's just like their fastball just kind of breaks a little later and it just gets on you, you know? So can't like we'll definitely go into those specific guys because I've already named those guys as people that we wanted to talk about and we've kind of circled certain those guys' names because I thought Ido was one of the most underrated. Like, dude, he's on Samurai Japan, but he doesn't get enough respect.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Because that dude, like, he can throw it in a freaking soup can. Like, it's like boom, and all the pitches go where he wants. It's like, all right, slider up and away, slider down and away, bang, heater in, splitter down. It's like everything goes wherever he wants. And they all have added a little bit of velo. Yamashita added a ton of velo that one year, and like he's just maintained it. Moinello has slowly developed. He's been over here for a while, so he's added velo and he just throws hard now. Miyagi and Aito have both added velo, which with already their secondary pitches, adding extra velo, so you have less time to decide and differentiate their fastball from their off-speed. That anyone can use an extra 2 to 3 miles per hour. It just makes hitting all the off-speed pitches harder, and it makes the off-speed pitches break a little bit more too.
Yeah, no, and you're right that we've circled these guys' names for a reason. So we'll definitely delve into them even further at some point.
Now, I would say Miyagi was the toughest. The first time I faced him, he went changeups against me, and it was tough. And I actually got him. Not got him, but I hit a double and a single off him. And then he remembered that, I think. He went splitties and his splitty curveball slider. So he just stayed away from the changeup after that. And he got me 3 times in a row. And I thought he was the toughest. He's the only guy I struck out 3 times against the entire time I was there. So him and Sasaki were the 2 pitchers I definitely had the most trouble.
Yeah, Yamamoto, no trouble with him. Right?
I actually squared him up a lot, but I think his just repertoire of like keeping balls down and my swing of trying to get pitches in the lower part of the zone was good. Now, when he executed his splitter, I had no chance, so it didn't matter. But I had a better chance of hitting him, which is fun because like on a day, like he's a nasty pitcher and he's going to get the majority of guys out. But I had a better chance of hitting him than Miyagi or Sasaki.
Yep. Yeah, just hitting profile.
It's just like that's just hitting. Sometimes your swing plays better against one guy than another.
Yeah, absolutely. Last question we have for today is from Michelin-starred. She asks, did you have a Japanese tutor or a Japanese class while you were there? Was there anyone Japanese who could teach you casual words or phrases?
Yeah, I mean, my teammates tried to teach me casual words and phrases. They tried to teach me.
Who was your best tutor on the team?
Oh, my translator was probably the best tutor.
No.
But other than my... Hiranuma was probably, he was always trying to teach some stuff and talk to me. Genda and Tono, because we were in the infield together, we would always be talking a little bit. I remember during spring training, I was trying to explain the ground to Genda. And it was like, all right, this is dirt. And then the outfield is grass. And so Genda was like, dirt and grass. And he'd go back and forth. And it took him a couple of days to remember dirt, grass. And he was trying to tell me what that is in Japanese, and I don't remember what it was, but that was funny.
Probably need to ask him if he still remembers.
He probably doesn't. He might remember it. I tried as hard as I could to kind of get to know as many people as I could, and like kind of create inside jokes and just talk to guys about themselves and their family and joke around with them. I feel like that's kind of what I did well with my career, is just kind of create connections and try to fit in with wherever I was, whether it was in AAA, AA, or Korea or Japan. That's probably part of the reason why I had such a long career for a 32nd rounder, was because I was a likable person in the locker room. So it made it so that teammates liked you, and you're just a decent person, decent human being to be around, and makes it fun,
Just in the locker room, right? Just in the locker room.
Yeah. When I leave the locker room, I'm miserable. Yeah. So I'm just I'm strictly, what they mean by a locker room guy is like he's only happy and fun in the locker room, and then he leaves and he's not fun
miserable
anymore.
and sad.
Yeah. So yeah, this is the only time I smile ever. After this, when we're off camera or when I'm not at the baseball field, I'm just scowling the whole time.
I wish the people could see how miserable David usually is before we hit record. No, that's a joke. Anyway, that was fun. So if you've got more questions for us, please keep them coming. And if you're new here, welcome to Pacific Swings. You can find us anywhere where you normally listen to podcasts. So Spotify, Apple, YouTube, or wherever else you pretend you're going to listen to educational content.
And if you don't find us there, you're probably in the wrong place.
Yeah, or you spelled Pacific wrong. That could be a bit of a problem. So thanks for the questions, everyone. Yeah, it was more fun than I expected.
Same. And please keep listening to us ramble about baseball, and please listen to me ramble about my golf game getting better.
Probably that's not the hook we're looking for. Until next time, this has been Pacific Swings.
And remember, if you have more questions, I have more answers. I don't know about Jasper. He might not have more answers, but I got the answers. I got the answers, the vibes. Whether you want them or not, we will vibe.
We will vibe. All right, guys. See you later.
See you guys.